Good afternoon. My name is Angela Gash. I'm a student here at FSCJ and I'm a science major. So I apologize for my voice. I have been sick this week and I'm just now getting my voice back. So today we'll be talking about coastal living, how climate change is shaping living along the shore, especially here in Florida. So Florida is slowly disappearing and it's happening faster than you think. So what's the cause of this? Well, rising sea levels and stronger and bigger storms. So what will our future look like if we continue living so close to the ocean and the Gulf of Florida, and if we ignore the effects of climate change? So the reason why this has become such a crisis is rising population. So recently, back in 2022, the world's population reached a milestone, I guess. Um, So the world's population reached 8 billion people. And since then, we've only been growing. When we have warming oceans, warmer water means stronger storms like hurricanes, more frequent hurricanes, and a longer hurricane season. Rising sea levels. So 1 foot of sea level rise equals 300 feet of water onshore. And the reason why sea level is rising is because of the melting of the polar ice sheets up in Greenland and down in Antarctica and glaciers. And also, what contributes to it is the heating of ocean water. So, old infrastructure is another reason why this is a crisis. So, existing buildings and homes need to be retrofitted for new storms, and that's not always possible. It's not always realistic for the typical homeowner, and most businesses cannot afford this either. And another reason why this will become a crisis, or when it is a crisis during an actual storm, is a lack of funding for this infrastructure and our lack of education. We often see climate change denial in people, and um, a higher income, higher home insurance costs lead to climate migration. And climate migration is when folks, a majority of people in a community, their homes get destroyed and they have nowhere to go because they cannot rebuild. They cannot rebuild their homes, and so they have to pick up and move somewhere else. So here we see rising temperatures of land and water, and these lead to longer hurricane seasons and more frequent and intense storms. So we can see that the temperatures have been rising on the ocean or in the ocean and on land. Climate change predictions. So typically climate change predictions and sea level predictions are through the year 2100, but this statistic is for 2050. And just through 2050, we can see that $106 billion worth of coastal property will be below sea level. And as we can see, 12 inches or a foot of sea level rise will occur. And that's only in 30 years. And remember, 1 foot of sea level rise means 300 feet of water onshore, which means a lot of our beaches will disappear. So what happens to those homes? They disappear. Those homes and yards become our beaches. Statistics in the United States. So almost 40% of the people live on the coast in the United States. But in comparison, Florida has nearly 70%, 75% of its population living in coastal counties. So that's much higher, almost twice as much as the national average of people living by the coast. So here we see a before and after of hurricane damage, a Hurricane Cat 4 down in Fort Myers. So you can see where the beach just looks normal here, and then after this extremely strong hurricane, it's nearly destroyed. And it will be rebuilt and has been rebuilt due to beach revitalization projects, but that costs the city millions of dollars, potentially billions, every time that this happens. And at some point, it will not be able to happen anymore. So not only are we building next to the sea, we are building on rivers and over wetlands. And 2,000 square miles of marshes and mangroves have been built over. And this includes, and I'm sorry to say it for some folks, Disney World. It was built over marshland. So that makes these sea level areas prone to flooding. Again, down in Fort Myers, after a Cat 4 hurricane, you can see here the marina. And then after the storm, how the marina has disappeared. And at some point, you will not be able to rebuild in this area. All of this will move this way. So what can we do about all of this? Can we stop it? We cannot stop nature. We're not going to stop a whole world of people from contributing to global warming and climate change. But we can act in different ways. So it's very important to self-educate and remember that educating yourself does not mean reading Facebook posts and finding people with your same opinion to justify what you think. We need to do research through reputable sources. That means news outlets, universities, scientists, scientific journals who have done actual scientific research. And we can write our local and state representatives. We can urge them to take action and to spend money, our taxpayer money, in fortifying our coastline and our cities. And we need to treat our properties as investments. Number one, you should, every time you buy a home, you should look up a flood zone on FEMA's website, because sometimes these flood zones change and your current home may not be in a flood zone, but next year it may be in a flood zone. So then you need to update your insurance. And if you're a new buyer in Florida, you need to possibly consider buying a little bit more inland. So we should think about our future now because this is all happening as we speak. The storms are getting stronger, they're getting longer, and we are staying where we are. But one day, nature is going to kick us out. So we need to keep up to date and self-educate ourselves. We need to be proactive now so that we can build a stronger community that is prepared for the changing weather that climate change is bringing us. Thank you guys for listening, and have a good day.